Coral sat alone in the corner of the dim cantina. The hum of engines and low chatter filled the station around him, but he felt far away from all of it. His body ached from old wounds. Scars ran across his chest and arms, reminders of battles he could never forget. His green skin was weathered, and his eyes held a strange sadness. Coral had fought many wars, but none of them haunted him like the one he remembered on the distant moon, where he first saw humans fight. The cantina smelled of recycled air and old food. Most of the other aliens ignored him, and he was glad. He liked to sit quietly, drinking bitter tea, and staring at the stars. He knew that soon his life might change, but for now, he could hide in the shadows. The Galactic Empire had called a council meeting. They had found a new planet that was beginning to explore space. Humans called it Earth. It was small and young compared to the Empire's worlds. The council saw it as easy to control, a minor annoyance. Some humans had damaged a probe and a scout ship, but the council laughed it off. They said humans were primitive and weak. Coral did not laugh. He remembered the humans he had faced years ago. Small, thin, and unarmed in their villages, but strong in ways the Empire could not understand. They did not fear death the way other species did. They fought to protect each other, to survive, and to keep their homes safe. He shivered, remembering their courage. The station's main hall was crowded the next morning. Admirals, generals, and politicians filled the room. Holographic screens showed images of Earth. The council whispered about resources, trade, and control. Some spoke about sending small fleets to teach humans a lesson. Others said it was not necessary to act quickly. Coral pushed through the guards and officers. He did not care about protocol. He demanded to speak to the council. His voice was rough, and his steps were heavy, but he walked straight to the center. "I have seen them fight," he said. "I have faced humans in battle. Do not underestimate them." The room went silent. A human liaison officer named Claire watched from the edge. She was young, small, and quiet. She translated data for the Empire, and she had never seen a human soldier before. She leaned forward, listening carefully. An admiral laughed, his large blue eyes flashing. "You are old and confused," he said. "Humans are weak. They cannot stand against the Empire." Coral shook his head. "You do not understand. I have fought them. One small group of humans held a base for 3 days against my best squad. They were outnumbered 10-1, and yet they did not surrender. When they ran out of weapons, they still attacked. They protect each other. They fight for something bigger than orders or fear. Thanks for watching." And well, they nuded Cian, they fort noded Cian, and we make day, where they ran out of weapons. Marin, a senior strategist, waved him away. "Aliens always exaggerate. Humans are emotional, undisciplined, primitive. They will not last." Coral's jaw tightened. He had hoped someone would listen, but the council had already made up their minds. They were blind to what he knew. He told them the story anyway. His squad had landed on a mining outpost on a small moon. They expected humans to surrender. Instead, a small team led by a man named John had fought them. They used rocks, debris, and old machinery as weapons. They set traps with limited tools. Even wounded, they moved together to protect each other. Coral's squad had been shocked. They were trained soldiers. "They do not fight for glory," Coral said. "They do not fight for power. They fight for their homes, their families, and each other. If you attack Earth, you will face soldiers who will not give up. They will surprise you in ways you cannot imagine." The council murmured, but none seemed convinced. The admiral shook his head and said, "We have conquered hundreds of worlds. One small human planet will be no different. Your fear is weakness, Coral. Coral felt anger rise inside him. He wanted to scream at them, to make them see the truth. He wanted to protect the humans from the Empire, but no one would listen. He looked at Claire. She was small and quiet, but her eyes were wide. She was listening carefully. Maybe, he thought, someone on the inside could help. The council voted. A limited strike would be sent to Earth. Nothing too large, nothing that would risk the Empire's pride. The Admiral smirked. The Empire would show humans their place. Coral left the hall. His body ached, but his mind was heavier. He muttered to himself, "You are walking into a storm you cannot see." Claire followed him quietly. She had seen courage in the alien veteran. She had heard truth that the council ignored. She wondered what humans would do if the Empire tried to attack. She remembered her homeworld and its people. Humans were small, fragile, and untested. But she knew one thing. They never gave up. The next weeks were tense. Imperial fleets prepared for a move toward Earth. Ships of all sizes filled space lanes. Weapons were loaded. Shields checked. Officers trained their crews, but no one trained them for what Coral had warned about. The humans would not fight like any other species. Coral watched the preparations from a quiet corner of the station. He knew he could not stop the fleet alone. He could only hope someone listened. Claire approached him. "You really think humans are that strong?" she asked. Her voice was soft, almost fearful. Coral nodded. "I have seen them. One small group can change the outcome of a battle, and if they fight together, they are unstoppable. Do not underestimate them. If the Empire attacks, everything will be tested." Claire nodded slowly. She began copying some of Coral's old reports and battle notes. She wanted the humans to know, somehow. Maybe it could save lives. On Earth, humans were busy as usual. Cities bustled, satellites scanned the skies, and ordinary people went about their daily lives. They did not know the Empire existed, but they would soon. When they did, they would surprise the galaxy in ways no one could imagine. Coral stayed on the station, silent and waiting. He knew the humans would fight. He had no idea how fierce they would be, but he knew it would be unlike anything the Empire had ever faced. He sipped his bitter tea, staring at the stars. Somewhere out there, human soldiers trained, played, and lived. And soon, they would stand together against the Empire. For now, the Council ignored the warning. The fleets prepared, and the galaxy slept, unaware of the storm coming from a small blue world. Coral thought of John, the human soldier he had faced years ago. He remembered the courage, the cleverness, and the strange joy they had in surviving impossible odds. He remembered the moment when one human pulled a wounded comrade across broken ground, refusing to leave him behind. That memory stayed with him. He whispered, "They are coming, and they will not stop." Redder, redder. The hum of the station continued. Engines roared, lights flickered, and the council planned. But in a small corner, a veteran who had faced humans before knew the truth. The humans were not just soldiers. They were a force of nature. And in the silence of the cantina, Coral waited, knowing the storm that would soon sweep across the galaxy. Alex stood in the underground command center on Earth. Screens glowed with data, showing strange objects moving at the edge of the solar system. He rubbed his forehead. He had seen unusual activity before, but nothing like this. Massive alien ships were moving in formation, and satellites were picking up strange signals. The humans had never faced anything like it. "What do we know so far?" asked his assistant, Jenny, a calm and careful young woman. She pointed to the screens, showing small blips approaching Mars' orbit. Not much, Alex replied. But they are huge, faster than anything we have seen, and they are armed. This is not a simple probe. This is a fleet, Jenny nodded. We need to prepare. Civilians will panic if they see this. Alex sighed. He had spent years preparing for natural disasters, small conflicts, and cyber attacks. Nothing could have prepared him for a galactic empire arriving at Earth's doorstep. Suddenly, a signal arrived. A message from deep space. It was in a language humans could barely decode. It carried an imperial seal. The Empire demanded submission. Earth must hand over resources, allow supervision, and obey their rules. It was not a request. It was a warning. Alex stared at the message. The Council of Leaders in the command center leaned forward, reading quickly. The Empire expected fear, but humans were not used to submitting to threats. Reply. Alex said. Tell them Earth will defend itself. We do not negotiate under threat. Arne. One officer gasped. Sir, are you sure? This could start a war. Alex nodded firmly. We have no choice. If we show fear, they will see weakness. Humans survive because they fight, not because they surrender. Far above Earth, in orbit, Imperial ships adjusted their positions. Sensors scanned for hidden defenses. The fleet was large, but the Empire did not know Earth's secrets. They thought humans were weak, just like they thought Coral was afraid of them. Coral watched from the orbital station where he had been stationed. He felt dread in his chest. He had warned the Council months ago, but they had ignored him. Now the humans were awake, and he could not stop the coming storm. Claire moved quietly beside him. She held a datapad with copied information about human forces. She had discovered some patterns in human communication and defenses that might help the humans survive the first attacks. She whispered to Coral, We can warn them, but we have to be careful. If anyone sees this, we are both in danger. Coral nodded. He understood. Sometimes the smallest warning could save many lives. He watched the Imperial fleet move closer. Each ship was massive, bristling with weapons and shields. The humans had no idea what they were about to face. On Earth, Alex and his team made preparations. Satellites were adjusted to track the fleet. Defense grids were powered. Special teams prepared for boarding actions. Humans were clever, with limited technology. They used old satellites, hidden drones, and improvised weapons. They knew the Empire had more powerful ships, but humans had one thing the Empire underestimated: creativity and courage. We can't match them ship for ship, Alex said to his officers. But we can use what we have to make them think we are stronger than we are. Mislead them. Confuse them. Survive. Until we learn more. One human officer, Lisa, raised her hand. Sir, what about civilians in orbiting stations? They will be targets. Alex nodded. We will protect as many as we can. But we cannot save everyone. Our goal is to stop the fleet without losing the planet. We will be smart, not reckless. The first clash began when an Imperial scout ship moved too close to a human orbital station. Humans detected it early. A small team of human pilots, using old shuttles, intercepted the scout. They jammed its sensors and sent false readings. The scout thought it was approaching an empty station. When it got closer, humans used hidden drones to disable its engines. The ship floated, powerless, in orbit. Back on Earth, Alex watched the live feeds. He smiled. He, knowing humans had surprised the Empire already. Small, clever moves could slow a much stronger enemy. This is only the beginning, Alex said. They will learn quickly that humans do not surrender. Imperial officers were shocked when reports of the disabled scout reached them. The Admiral, a tall alien with gray scales named Talver, frowned. "How can a primitive species stop one of our ships?" he asked. Other officers murmured nervously. Coral watched from the station. He felt a mixture of relief and fear. Relief that humans could fight. Fear that the Empire would escalate quickly. He tried to convince Talver to be cautious, but the Admiral dismissed his concerns. "Prepare for a demonstration," Talver said. "We will strike key points on Earth. They will learn submission quickly." Humans responded with careful planning. They allowed one small Imperial cruiser to approach a lightly defended station. Alex knew the fleet, expected little resistance. The humans had set a trap. Low. Hidden shuttles waited, cyber teams infiltrated the ship's systems, and soldiers prepared for boarding. When the cruiser moved in, humans launched the attack. Shuttles approached from hidden angles. Drones disabled the main weapons, and soldiers boarded through maintenance ports. The Imperial crew was caught off guard. They expected civilians, or untrained humans. Instead, they found veterans, trained in combat. Humans moved together, protecting one another, disabling systems, and taking control of sections of the ship. Talver received the report. His face darkened. "This is impossible," he muttered. "They are supposed to be weak." Marin, watching the reports, could not hide her fear. She saw humans pulling wounded enemies to safety, refusing to leave anyone behind. She whispered, "They are not like us. They are stronger in ways we cannot measure." Claire copied battle data from the cruiser. She sent it secretly to any human channels she could reach. She knew this information could save many lives. Coral watched quietly. He had warned the Empire, but now, humans would learn the truth on their own. On Earth, civilians were unaware of the battle. City lights twinkled far below, oblivious to the approaching Imperial fleet. Soldiers worked in secret, moving supplies, preparing defenses, and watching the skies. They did not have the technology of the Empire, but they had determination, courage, and clever minds. The first wave of Imperial ships tried to strike Earth. Orbital bombardments began. Missiles targeted communication, satellites, and small stations. Humans responded with decoy satellites, hidden weapons, and cyber interference. One human team, led by Lisa, held a small moon base against repeated Imperial attacks, using clever traps and terrain to slow the enemy. Imperial captains reported unexpected resistance. Some suggested retreat, but Talver ordered them to press harder. Losses were rising. The humans were organized, creative, and relentless. Every time the Empire struck, humans adapted. Coral felt the tension grow. He whispered to Claire, "They are learning faster than the Empire expects. The humans fight for more than survival. They fight for each other." Claire nodded. She understood. The humans were not just soldiers. They were a united force, capable of surprising even the Empire's best-trained officers. As night fell over Earth, human satellites lit the skies with their subtle counterattacks. Orbital teams moved like shadows, striking and disappearing. The Empire's fleet was frustrated and confused. They expected panic, surrender, or retreat. They found determination and strategy. Alex watched from the command center. He felt a mix of pride and fear. Humans had survived the first clash, but the Empire would not give up easily. He needed more information, better plans, and fast. "We need to show them humans are not weak," Alex said to his officers. "Every move counts, every life counts. We will fight smart, together, and we will survive." Coral sat on the station, watching live feeds from Earth. He thought of John and the other humans he had faced years ago. He saw the same courage in the humans defending their home now. He smiled faintly knowing the Empire was facing something it could not predict. Claire copied more data, hidden from the Empire. She thought about how the smallest details, patterns, signals, tactics, could save lives. She wondered how far humans could push the Empire before it broke. The first battle had ended, but the war was only beginning. Humans had shown they would not surrender. They had fought clever, brave, and together. The Empire had learned that underestimating humans was a mistake. In quiet corners, officers of the Empire whispered. Some feared humans. Others doubted the orders of Talvar. On Earth, soldiers celebrated small victories while preparing for the next wave. Coral and Claire watched, waiting for the next moves. The humans had surprised everyone, and the galaxy had not yet seen the full force of Earth's courage. The storm was coming, and humans were ready. The Empire's council meeting was tense. Reports from the first clash with Earth were grim. A scout ship had been disabled. A cruiser was partially captured. Imperial losses were higher than expected. Talvar's face was dark as he listened to updates. This is impossible, he said. They are supposed to be weak. One planet cannot cause this much damage. Marin, the senior strategist, spoke carefully. Sir, the humans fight differently. They protect each other and use what they have. Cleverly. They adapt quickly. They do not respond like other species we have conquered. Talvar waved her off. Nonsense. They will break, eventually. Double the strike force and finish this quickly. Coral watched quietly from a corner. He had warned them before, but no one listened. Now, the Empire faced the truth. Humans were not ordinary soldiers. They had courage, strategy, and the will to survive. Claire moved silently beside Coral. She had been sending battle data to humans, guiding them without revealing herself. The humans used the information carefully, making small adjustments that saved lives and confused the Empire. They are learning fast, Coral whispered. The humans are clever, and they do not fight like anyone else. The Empire will regret ignoring my warning. On Earth, Alex studied the incoming reports. The humans had survived the first attacks, but the Empire would not stop. He gathered his officers. The Empire expects weakness, Alex said. They think humans will surrender. We have to show them we are united and clever. Every team must know their role. The rendered force said, with Canadazalar. I mean with forces. With coming of Resses, and their working absolute, as well said. Every ship, drone, and satellite must work together. Jenny, his assistant, looked at him with concern. Alex shook his head. We will not fail. Humans survive because they fight together. Fear will not control us. We will be smart, fast, and united. Hidden from the Empire, humans began studying the captured cruiser. They examined every system, every weapon, and every sensor. Engineers worked day and night to understand how it worked. They found ways to improve their own defenses using what they learned. On one small moon base, Lisa's team prepared traps. They had been attacked before, but now they knew more. They created decoy positions, camouflage, and hidden explosives. Every move was planned to slow the Empire. We cannot fight them head-on, Lisa said to her team. We will make them waste ships and time. Every mistake they make, we will use it against them. Imperial captains reported strange patterns of resistance. Their ships were damaged by hidden weapons. Their plans foiled by small human units. Some whispered that humans were not just stubborn, they were brilliant. Talvar's anger grew. He ordered the second wave, larger and stronger. He wanted to crush Earth completely before humans learned too much. Marin watched silently. She knew the humans were learning faster than the Empire realized. She began to question Talvar's judgment. Coral knew the humans could survive another attack if guided carefully. He whispered to Claire, "We can give them small hints, patterns, and warnings. Every bit counts. They will adapt." Claire nodded. She continued sending secret signals to human ships and teams. Humans used the information subtly, never revealing that someone inside the Empire was helping them. The second wave began. Massive cruisers, bombardment ships, and fighters moved toward Earth. Orbital attacks started. Humans responded with layered defenses. Satellites were moved, drones deployed, and hidden weapons fired at the advancing fleet. One small human team on a ruined moon base used terrain to trap Imperial soldiers. Narrow passes, hidden mines, and clever ambushes destroyed several ships and delayed the fleet. Lisa's team held their position for hours, refusing to retreat. On Earth, Alex coordinated the defense. Humans used misdirection, pretending to retreat in one area while striking in another. Small teams disabled weapons, captured ships, and spread confusion. Every move showed the Empire that humans were not ordinary soldiers. Coral watched reports from the station. He smiled faintly. Humans were proving his warnings true. The Empire's arrogance was their weakness. He thought of John and the small human squad he had faced years ago. Their courage lived on in every human soldier now. Claire copied more battle data. She knew humans could use it to defend more people. She whispered, "They will survive if we guide them carefully." In the Empire, fear began to spread. Talvar's captains whispered about impossible tactics. Some refused to follow orders blindly. Maren spoke to a few trusted officers. "We cannot control these humans. We must reconsider." Talvar refused to listen. He ordered relentless attacks. Yet, every time humans were pushed, they adapted. They used the captured cruiser systems, old satellites, and clever tactics to turn the tide in small ways. One human team captured an Imperial communications post. They used it to send false orders, confusing the fleet. Another team disabled engines of a cruiser by exploiting a hidden weakness. The Empire began to lose control over the battle. Alex watched carefully. "They are learning quickly," he said. "Every move we make must be precise. We cannot afford mistakes." Redder. "Well, once day 4 we Alex." Lisa's team received orders to prepare a counterattack. They waited until the Empire's ships were overconfident. Then, in a coordinated strike, they disabled key weapons, captured parts of the fleet, and forced several ships to retreat. The Empire was shocked. Talvar's face was red with anger. Maren whispered, "Sir, this is what Coral warned us about. Humans fight for each other, not for orders. We cannot win like this." Coral watched quietly, feeling a mix of sorrow and pride. He had tried to warn them, but no one listened. Now, the humans were proving themselves. Their courage, cleverness, and unity were stronger than the Empire realized. Claire moved carefully, continuing her secret work. She sent warnings about incoming attacks, predicted enemy movements, and gave humans small hints to survive. Every message she sent saved lives and slowed the Empire's advance. Humans on Earth worked together. Engineers repaired damaged satellites, teams cleared rubble and prepared defenses. Soldiers trained new recruits, teaching them tricks and tactics from the battlefield. Even civilians helped, moving supplies, hiding equipment, and passing information. The second wave of attacks slowed. The Empire could not break through human defenses. Losses were mounting. Talvar's anger turned to fear. He saw his ships destroyed by small human units, his plans foiled by clever tricks, and his officers doubting his judgment. Maren began to speak openly. "We underestimated them. We must retreat, or we will lose more ships and soldiers. These humans are not weak. And Talvar refused. We cannot retreat. Surrender is weakness. Finish the planet. Coral shook his head silently. He knew the Empire's arrogance would cost them. Humans were not ordinary soldiers. They were clever, brave, and united. They would survive, and the Empire would learn the hard way. Alex gathered his officers. The Empire expects fear. We will show them courage. We will fight smart and together. Every life matters. Every move counts. We will survive. We will survive. We will survive. As night fell over Earth, humans continued their defense. Orbital satellites flashed signals, drones moved like shadows, and hidden weapons struck the advancing fleet. The Empire's ships were damaged and confused. Every small human victory built confidence and morale. Talvar watched in frustration. His fleet was not breaking Earth. His losses were rising. He realized humans were not ordinary. They adapted, fought together, and refused to surrender. Coral whispered to Claire, "They are learning too fast. The humans will force the Empire to change." Claire nodded. "We have to guide them carefully. They can survive, but only if we help quietly." Action. On Earth, Alex and his team planned the next moves. Humans had survived 2 waves of attacks. They had proven the Empire could not underestimate them. Small victories, clever tactics, and unity had saved lives and slowed the Empire's advance. The humans had surprised the galaxy. The Empire had begun to fear them. Coral sat on the station, watching. He knew the storm was only beginning. The humans would continue to fight, learn, and adapt. The Empire would see their true power soon. The galaxy was changing. Humans were no longer a small, weak species. They were clever, brave, and united. The Empire had learned that underestimating them was a dangerous mistake. Claire continued her secret work. Humans had allies in unexpected places. Small hints, guidance, and data could make the difference between life and death. She whispered, "They will survive, and they will show the Empire who they really are." The storm was growing. Humans had survived, and the Empire had begun to fear them. The first real lesson had been learned. Never underestimate Earth's soldiers.